Good morning. Next series of hands are going to be me playing in early position. So for hand number one's Ace King under the gun. Under the gun's going to be a pretty tight range. It's right there. If with being under the gun, I typically don't play 2s, 3s, and 4s. Just kind of get rid of those. I still play Ace 2, 3, 4, 5, unless it's at a difficult table where I expect a lot, to be 3-bet quite a bit, or expect to get a lot of callers. Then I just fold those, and I usually fold 5-6s and 7-6 suited, 8-7 suited. Try to keep a stronger range in those games. Here at this table, just glancing around, we've got some loose players, 38, 30% BPIP, 8% pre-flop, flop PFI, pre-flop raise with 63 hands. This is 38-10. At this point, I've really only know two players. This is a playing 23-7, definitely more on the looser passive type side. We definitely want to attack him. This player's playing 24-15. Loose has some aggressive tendencies, but you can note that they're, this guy's 3-bet 6%, but their called 2-bets is 19 and 23 respectively. So I'm just going to continue with my regular raise minus 2s, 3s, and 4s. Raise the 3 big blinds, and we get 2 callers, and both callers are relative unknowns. This player's playing 28-3. This is 64-5. So this is going to have a much wider range than this villain. So this villain, we're going to assume that he would have raised kings plus ace king. We're going to give him pocket pairs. I think a lot of people call suited aces. I think a lot of people call some of these stronger connector cards and one gappers. Probably offsuit Broadway. That's 18% for this player in mid position. I think we're probably going to go with that. This next player is going to be much wider. We're going to go probably something where it will adjust this. So I have 39 hands. He's played 64 and he's raised 5%. He is not 3-bet at all. But again, I will assume he would have 3-bet kings plus. General population does that. Ace king is questionable whether or not they do it. I'll include them here. I will say that I think a loose player like this tends to play these connectors and one gappers a lot more. The suited side of things, I don't think I can tell a whole lot. You can see calls. He wants to play hands. Let's give him all the like. It just doesn't make sense to play all of those. But some players don't make sense. So he's in position. Let's give him this super wide range. All right, so we're gonna see a flop. Get my hand in here. Got 10.9%. I've got 144 combos, and we see a flop of ace 10 4, ace of diamonds, 10 and 4 of hearts. All right, so that hits my range. I do have aces. Aces are in everyone else's range, but if I have an ace, that makes it less likely that they have an ace. So it's on us. We're up against 2 opponents. We're out of position. It's on a board that and against an opponent that I think is going to be calling a lot. Now his fold c-bet stats is 100% when he's in position, so 2 out of 2, 75% when he's out of position, 3 out of 4. If he connects with this board, he's probably going to call it. So if he caught a 10, he's probably going to call it. This guy, probably not. So I kind of feel like we should be betting a lot of our range because we want this guy, this looser player. We're hoping that he caught a piece and he's going to call. So I bet half pot. What am I going to bet half pot with? I do think I'm going to be betting pocket pair below the top card because I can imagine that a 10 is going to be calling. So 10 jack, 10 9, and it hits him. I think middle pair, pocket pair below the second card is going to be checking, probably check folding against both of these players. I think the flush draw is going to be betting. I think the gut shot could be bet as a bluff. And this is different. If we were heads up, I wouldn't be betting as many of these hands because it's less likely that anyone that player connected. I'm doing it here because we're up against two opponents, and I'm trying to get and you want to get value. You want to get value. So right now I could see that our draws are definitely not that good. We only 14% for versus 48%. So maybe what we do is pocket pair below the top card. We check those as well. Yeah, because if we're behind the aces, we're always going to be behind. I guess if they bet, we can call, and then if they bet again on the turn, we can fold. That's probably better than betting, having them call, and then have to check fold. I think it exposes us to bluffs. So yeah, I kind of think jacks, queens, kings will be better to check. What about top pair? What about these aces? Should we be betting all of them? I think ace 2, 3, 4, ace 2, ace 3, and ace 5. They've got backdoor potential if we're behind. I think we're betting those to try to get the ace 7, ace 8, ace 9 to fold. I think ace jack, ace queen, ace king, we're probably betting for value. So yeah, I think we're going to be doing that. What about a few more bluff hands? Kind of think maybe like king, queen, queen, jack of diamonds. We have backdoor draw and the gut shot. I don't know if that changed at all. Yeah, that's you have that. Any other backdoor draws? I don't think so. We've got our gut shots: queen, jack, king, king, queen. I guess we're gonna be definitely stronger. I think that exposes us a little bit. If we check, we definitely don't have a lot of this stuff. All right, no, we'll go with that. Villain 8 calls. They both call. So what is Villain 8 gonna call with? I think he's gonna be calling with, probably with any pair. He's first to act. Maybe not fives, six, sevens, eights, nines. I think those will get rid of it. But middle pair plus, I think flush draw calls. Gut shot's questionable. He might call once and then see how it goes. But and just because he plays 28-3, but I think we're gonna leave that off. We're gonna leave him for flush draw. I think this loose player is gonna be definitely middle pair plus. You know, any of those tens. I think the flush draw. I bet his gut shot's probably gonna be calling because he is so loose. These 5, 6, 7s, 8s, 9s. With two players already calling, he could justify calling one time just to see if he's gonna connect. We'll leave those in his range. So we're going to go to a turn. I definitely have a stronger hand, or stronger range, I should say. And our turn card now is a 3 of diamonds. And that's actually pretty good because we were betting that ace 2, ace 3, ace 5. We could now have two pair. Could have improved to a gut shot now. And with our king, queen, queen, jack of diamonds, we now have not only gut shot, but we have a flush draw. So it's on us. So I'm going to continue betting. I'm going to bet the sets. I'm going to bet our two pair. I do think we're going to be betting our top pair. Again, trying to go for value because I think the hearts are going to call. We're going to lose out on the middle pairs. We're going to lose out on 7s, 8s, 9s. If they came along, we might lose out on a 10. However, I bet this guy calls if he has a 10. So, how much do we bet? I think we should size up a little bit, because I think if he calls, we should be ahead. So I bet 17.4, which is what, 2/3 pot. I think that looks pretty good. The villain force, which is who we were hoping would be calling, didn't. So I think he had the weaker range, and now villain 8 calls. And what could villain 8 have? So let's get this. Oops. Let's take those out and get his flop range in there. So that's, he's got 98, and then we have the 3 of diamonds. Let's see how we compare. All right, so my turn range, we're betting. So we're betting top pair plus. I think we're going to be betting our flush draws, flop, and turn. If everyone folds, hey, that's great. Especially if they give up on their 10s and we're still drawing, hey, that's great. I don't think we're going to be betting our gut shots. The gut shots are going to be part of our flush draws. So the king, queen, jack of hearts, and diamonds. And same thing. I think it's same thing with our gut shots. So yeah, we're going to be betting a lot more. I don't think we're really going to have a whole lot of checking range. And again, this could be different if we were heads up, but since we had 2 opponents, I believe you want to be aggressive. You want to try to, bet, build pots, and make them have that decision as to whether or not they're going to continue or just fold. So what does he call? I think he definitely calls top pair. Pocket pair below the top card. So queens and jacks, I think a lot of people do call that. They can't throw those away. They feel like they're too strong. They've got a pocket pair. They need to see it down, even though the ace is out there. So I think I'm going to include that in his range. I don't think middle pair is going to come along anymore. Not with the second opponent left to act. He may have called on the flop, but once he saw the button called, I think he's going to just give that away, and then he'll probably be disappointed if he folded and then the other guy folded behind. He's like, oh darn it, I should have called. So I think his flush draw is going to be calling. Probably turn flush draw as well. I don't think gut shots are going to be calling. So I think overall he's going to be calling a lot, and we're going to be ahead of his range quite often. So we're this is 89.8%, 88 combos, and now we get our river card is the 9 of clubs. That seems like it is an innocuous card. Our equity is 60.2 versus his is 39.8. And now what do? What hands can we bet that he would call? So I think he would call the sets. He would call 2 pair. He'd probably call top pair. Maybe queens and jacks. Middle pair, I think, just going to ultimately fold. Weak pair is going to fold. Nothing's going to fold. So I think he comes along 85.1%. And against my entire range, you can see that is, 46%. Now, if I only bet top pair plus, you can see that I'm 64% versus 36%. Really, the top pair comes down to like ace 2, ace 5, ace jack, ace queen. I think that when we bet we bet like ace 2, ace 5, hoping to fold out, that he folds out the ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8. Firing it 3 times. He could have been coming along with, the hearts, ace 5, ace 6, ace 7 of hearts. And now he misses, and I'm betting 3 times he could just fold because he assumes I have ace king, ace queen. But I think if I have ace king, I think I'm checking those. So I check, and I'm planning to check call because again, if I have ace king, question is, does he really call with all of the top pair? And maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't call with these. Maybe he only calls ace, queen, ace, jack. So if I have my top pair and I bet, when he calls, really I'm going to either. Let's go back here. If I have ace, king, I'm ahead of his calling range. If I have ace, queen, we're going to split or I win. If I have ace, jack, we're going to split or he wins. And if I have ace, 2 or ace 5, then he's going to win. I think this is a decent situation where top pair and probably our 2 pair are going to be like check calls. And hope he bets probably, because like who could call 3 times in a row? If we bet 3 times in a row and he calls all 3, I think one pair probably isn't going to win. So I did check. So I think we're getting rid of our sets because I think I would have bet those, and then our 2 pair. I think we 3-bet nothing. That's 50-50. So our missed draws. Yes, our missed draws. That's about 50-50. We bet those along with our sets for value. And then we check top pair, 2 pair. I think that is what we want. I'm going to get that on here. So we check, and then he bets. And what is he going to bet? I think he's going to bet a set. He's going to bet his 2 pair. Now I think he's going to bet all of his top pair hands, and possibly, maybe not all of his 2 pair. Let's take those. Let's say he only bets those. He only bets those. I need 25, 26% equity. He bets a little more than half pot. I'm getting it with my check calling range, so this is gonna be a check call. Not gonna be happy with it. I'm hoping that he's got ace, queen, ace, king, but I think when you see like his 2 pair type hands, yeah. I called. He shows ace 9. Is ace 9 on there? Yeah, I had him. I think that was a little bit unfortunate, but if the card wasn't a 9, what I think he'd call, I would still play this. I mean, if it's an 8 or a 7, I think I would still play it the same. I think checking, and it gives him an opportunity to bluff with that hand. When I don't think he's really going to call if I bet a 3rd time. I think he's calling. I mean, based on my early position play, I'm going to be tight. I'm going to be strong. So what do I think of this hand? I think big question was, the flop. What hands do I bet? I think my hand ends up being much stronger, more value hands than bluffs. Which I guess, the more opponents you're up against post flop, the more straightforward you have to play. So I think that's probably okay. I'm curious to see what a solver would say. All right. Hopefully you like this. Look tomorrow for another.